Alright, I'm going to be spending the next few hours making a Sharingan in Blender. First I'll find a good tutorial, then I can get right to it. This one looks good, now I'll just hop into Blender and start following along. The clip you're seeing here is actually from about halfway through because I lost the first half, and all I'd done so far was block out the basic shape for the Sharingan. Now I'm tracking the shape I created earlier to make it into an animation so that it follows the eye. I first tried to use the default auto-generated track in Blender, but there's too much motion blur in the video so it can't stay latched onto a single point to use as a guide, so instead I'm having to go through the tedious process of manually tracking the eye movement for each frame. Luckily it's just one point and not too complicated, so after spamming my mouse a couple hundred times, I have a guide for the position of the eye that's fairly decent and will work for what I'm trying to do. So now I'm back in the compositor, and here I'm adding some translate nodes to the mask that I made earlier for the shapes of the Sharingan, so that it'll move with the position of the eye based on the guide. So I also need to add a guide position as the input for the translate node. Now this took me a few minutes to get right, because at first I tried to use the transform node instead of the translate node, and I also didn't fill in all the settings for the tracking guide that I needed to use, as well as telling it to input the camera. But after checking back to the tutorial a few times, I got it all set up and working with the eye looking really good. So all that's left is to set up some output settings and then hit render. So here's the final animation.